Hey there, Gemini. Welcome to your reading for November 2024. You have this fox spirit, it says think on your feet. You have this beaver spirit, it says lay a solid foundation. A lot of foundational cards just in the collective in general. So, it could just be a good time for laying a foundation, especially if you're like working on something new, or even if it's something old that you just want to have a better foundation with, then it could be a good time for that foundational work. You have the Queen of Cups, the Ten of Wands, and the Hierophant. So the Queen of Cups is about following your heart and your intuition, and really, she really values what her heart is telling her to do and what feels right to her. And it is a very intuitive time. So your intuition is kind of connected to your heart in some ways. And I feel that a lot of you just need to follow your heart at this time. The other thing is, I don't really feel that Gemini has a hard time thinking on their feet. So, I feel like the fox spirit there is really, just saying, keep doing what you're doing, because again, I have never had a problem with Gemini thinking on their feet, and I think you're very good at it as well. You have the Queen of Cups, following your heart, like I said. The other interesting thing is, we go Hermit down to the Empress, and the Queen of Cups could be you having focused on your heart, and then we have the Hermit, which says you've been learning a lot over the past, years maybe, and it's time for you to have like a little bit of a glow up, and I kind of feel that's what these two cards right here are saying. The Empress with the star is that it's saying it's time for you to kind of come out of your shell or your cocoon and show the world what you're made of by, glowing up, or you are having a glow up. You have the Ten of Wands. A lot of hard work has been showing up in the collective as well. The Ten of Wands is, I kind of think it's a good card. He's about to reach his home in the background. And, the story of the card is that he planted those wands. And yes, he is experiencing a burden, but he's also about to be very successful because he's about to reach his home in the background of the card. So, even if you are experiencing hard work, or if you're feeling burdened, this can still say that you're about to reach success. So I'm not too worried about the Ten of Wands either, unless, the only thing I would say about the Ten of Wands is if you are very busy, I would be careful of other people's burdens, and taking responsibilities from other people, then that could be a problem. But other than that, I kind of just feel like you've been working hard. You have the Hierophant, and the Hierophant can represent blessings, your belief system, initiation. It's about thinking outside the box as well. Again, that's another thing I really don't feel Gemini has a hard time doing. So, I would just say keep doing what you're doing. I think you're doing a great job, clearly, based off of this reading. And, but, really, I feel like there could be some blessings coming in for you for some work that you've already done with that Ten of Wands. So if you have been working hard, I think that you are about to get results. If you've been building a foundation, like if you've been working on the beginnings of something, this could also say blessings are coming in from those new beginnings. With the Queen of Cups, you have the Death card. So there could be a change in the things that you love as well. And this could be something that you've been processing for a long time. Queen of Cups to the Hermit. Hermit says you've gone through a dark night of the soul, and now you're standing at the top of the mountain, shining your inner light. With the Death card, it can just say that you're moving on to new things. And again, this is not a bad thing. It's just like maybe 20 years ago, maybe you loved your job, but maybe over time you don't love it anymore, which is fine, right? And this could say that you're kind of like coming out into the light, but in the sense that you are looking for something new. That's just like one example, but I do kind of get that feeling that you are changing what you love. I don't really feel, maybe that's not the right way to put it, but I hope that makes sense. That's what I'm getting there. With the Ten of Wands, yes, you have another change card. You have the Seven of Pentacles. Seven of Pentacles says, is the juice worth the squeeze? The Ten of Wands says, is the work that you're doing, is it worth it? Or are there more efficient, better ways to do the things that you're doing? And, this is the key to success for like the next 20 years. I am convinced. I literally just said to someone else today that I think the key word, excuse me, the key word right now with the universe is efficiency. It's like if you're just working hard just to work hard, you're going to have a hard time. The the Empress, she doesn't even work hard, but if she is working hard, you better believe that she's getting more of a result for the hard work that she's doing. But she doesn't just work hard to work hard. She does it for a reason. And so with the Seven of Pentacles, it can say you're working hard, but it's like, do you know like what is working? Do you know that the hard work you're doing is worth it? Or are there pieces and parts of the hard work that you're doing that are worth it, and other pieces and parts that aren't worth it? And it says you need to get very specific about the work that you're doing, and I would definitely recommend it. With the Hierophant, you have the Magician. The Hierophant is making the symbol. That kind of represents a blessing. He's blessing the two people in front of him. The Magician is pointing up with his wand. The Hierophant is the bridge between the heavens and the earth. And I feel a lot of you have a vision, like in heaven, basically in your mind, that you need to manifest here on earth. And this is saying it's time to get to work if you haven't already, which I kind of feel some of you have been working to manifest a vision on earth, and you're about to do it. So love it. Even coming up here, you have this card in your next row, or the third row, that says you are very close to achieving your goal. So looks good. Next, in the area of what's coming in for you, you have this Gemini card, which is you. It says, speak your truth. It says, choose your words wisely. Remember that your words have consequences. You have this exploration card. It says, right now you need to search and explore. It's okay to wander until you find your home. So a lot of you might be with the Hermit in this energy of kind of seeking, or looking for inner answers on what your dream is, or again, if you're trying to work towards a new foundation, you could be seeking answers. So that's what I would pay attention to here. You have the King of Wands, the Hermit, and the Five of Cups. The King of Wands says it's time to really go for it. You're the first air sign that I'm doing so far this month, and I have a sneaking suspicion that all the air signs are probably going to get a message that says you really have to go for it. And so I just think it's an air sign energy that if you're going to do something, you need to make that like 110% commitment, which I probably have said to you before. And if you really go all in, then you'll be successful. We even go down from the King of Wands to the Star, and the Star, she is just dipping her toes in the water here in front of her. But again, for her to be successful, she really has to go all in, and that's where she will find her success. You have the Hermit. I feel like you've learned a lot over the years. And the Hermit, I think that, and again, this is a personal thing. This is not accurate tarot, but personally, I believe that the Hermit's next step is to come down from the mountain. When we've been hurt, or when we've been doing a lot of work, or we've been working towards something, it's like we feel like people might not understand us, or they might not understand where we're coming from because we've learned so much. And so I think with the Hermit, sometimes we can get stuck in Hermit mode where we just avoid the world. But really, the thing with the Hermit is that he needs to become the change that he wants to be in the world, or wants to see in the world. And if he does that and he becomes an example, then he will get his rewards. And you have the Star here. I believe with Pluto going into Aquarius in November, it's everybody's job to become a living example and to show the world what you're made of. So I kind of feel the Hermit is saying, like, you've learned enough to be able to do this, but now it's time to come down from the mountain and not isolate yourself, right? You have the Five of Cups. Five of Cups can be disappointment and sadness. We go from the Five of Cups to the Three of Swords to the Eight of Cups. The Eight of Cups is showing up in the good stuff, but this could definitely be you walking away from things that no longer serve you, plain and simple. The Five of Cups, he needs to walk away from something that he no longer enjoys. He has these 3 cups spilt over in front of him, and there's wine spilled out. And the story of the Five of Cups is he's grieving the loss of something he no longer enjoys. So he doesn't even want what he's grieving back. And I do get that feeling for you, that some of you, it's like you could be grieving something that you no longer want in your life anyway. So I think it's kind of like time to move on from something. With the King of Wands, yes, you have the Ten of Pentacles. You will, if you go all in, you will be very successful. Ten of Pentacles is everything you want and desire in your life. Ten of Pentacles forms the tree of life. And so I feel it's really time to go for it, and really time to go for what you want with this Ten of Pentacles energy. With the Hermit, you have the Two of Swords. Two of Swords is this or that thinking, but she has a new island behind her normally, and that new island represents a third place or a different outcome than she is expecting. So I feel for a lot of you that this is saying that you will get a different outcome than you are expecting if you go all in on something, and also if you pull yourself out of isolation. And so, she is normally trying to protect her heart. And she has this Three of Swords right next to her, right here. And the Three of Swords is a broken heart. And so I say this sometimes, like, you need to go all in, and people will say things, and I'm not making fun of anyone in the comments here, but I'm just saying people will say things like, oh, I can't go all in on a relationship because every time I do, someone cheats on me or whatever. And I'm like, well, yeah, that might be true, but at the same time, it's like if you're entering into something new and you're holding back, then you're just going to get holding back energy from the other person. So it's like we have to heal ourselves enough to trust ourselves. And really, again, I'm not picking on anyone here. I think it boils down to trust. It's like, what didn't you see in the past connections, and what can you pay attention to now so that it doesn't happen again? But if you go in holding back, you're going to have a hard time. But this also goes for like business. If you're, sometimes I think we try to do things to protect ourselves, which I totally understand. But it's like the things that we do to protect ourselves could be exactly the reason why a person leaves or why a business doesn't work, because we're trying to protect ourselves, really. And really, I think, life has taught me that there is nothing we can do to protect us from anything. When I was younger, I saw a person get hit by a car, they were killed, and it was it wasn't a fast road. The person wasn't going very fast and all this other stuff. And, when that happened to me, I was really like, there's nothing to worry about, because guess what? If you're going to get taken out, you're going to get taken out, right? So why worry about it? And I know that's a little bit, morbid, but that's kind of the energy that I get here, is that you need to realize that, really there's nothing you can do to avoid anything 100%. So you might as well live as if you have what you want and you have the perfect situation and come at it from that perspective. With the Five of Cups, you have the Four of Swords. Yeah, definitely. And again, it could be a good time to heal something that happened to you, because we go up to the Three of Swords. Three of Swords is a card of forgiveness, and it's a card of removing those swords from your heart. So you don't have to forgive a person or a situation directly. You just have to forgive it in your heart and heal past it. Like I said, I think one of the easiest things to do is to look at what you, number one, don't beat yourself up, of course. But number two, look at what you didn't see. I talk to a lot of people who have been through breakups and separations, and when you really get down to it, it's like there were a lot of warning signs at the beginning that the situation wasn't going to work out. And it's like I can think of two relationships back. I had two people cheat on me in a row, and it's like both people told me exactly what was going to happen pretty much day one, right, of dating them. If I really paid attention and I really listened, I would have known what type of person they were. And I just chose not to listen, right? So it's like I am convinced people tell us exactly what they're going to do up front right away. We just have to pay attention. So again, don't beat yourself up for not listening, but just pay attention in the future. Next, in the area of messages from your future self, you have this card that says a personal issue reaches resolution, which is good. You could be healing this. You have this card that says you're very close to achieving your goal, which we said at the beginning of the reading. So I feel for a lot of you, you are very close to achieving a goal here. And I would keep pushing forward. I would also, again, with the Ten of Wands, make sure you're not picking up extra responsibilities from other people. You have the Death card, the Three of Swords, and the Empress. The Death card, of course, is a change, and usually a positive change. We have the two pillars from the moon showing up here, and the sun is coming up between those two pillars. So it kind of says you're entering into a sun period, and I don't normally say that. I do talk about it sometimes, but I definitely feel it for you that you're entering into a period of like more clarity, or you're entering into a sun period, like a more happy time. You have the Three of Swords, and again, with all these retrogrades going on at the end of the year, I think it could be a great time for healing. Again, definitely don't beat yourself up with the Three of Swords, but looking at things and healing them, forgiving the past, forgiving yourself even for not seeing something, all that would be a good idea with this Three of Swords energy, because again, the Three of Swords is something that we have to remove those swords from our own heart. The Three of Swords is also temporary. It's raining on the card, and it's meant to represent the fact that the heartbreak will not last forever. And I don't even think like some of you might be going through a heartbreak right now, but I think this is multiple things from the past that you are healing. And so I would just go through the healing. The Empress is a great card for self-care. So the Empress shows up here, which is great. The Empress is, I think, the start of your glow up here with the star. And a lot of you could be about to glow up with this star Empress energy showing up here. It's also a card of self-care. Like I said, she really takes very good care of herself. She really nurtures herself. And I feel it would be a great time for you to make sure that you are like healing and nurturing yourself. With the Death card, you have the Hermit again. So the Hermit says you need to step into the light with the sun coming up in the back of the Death card. And so I would step into light, come out of isolation. Yes, with the Three of Swords, you have the Judgment card. I would be careful of a past person coming back, because again, we have a bunch of retrogrades at the end of the year. And, especially with Mars retrogrades are always a little bit sketchy to me. And, they can bring people back who want like revenge or, something like that. So I would say that it would be better for you to, just forgive and move on, or just not even talk to the person and move on with that Judgment card. The Judgment card is about stepping into a new life. So with the Judgment card, we have to completely release the past. The people on the Judgment card are standing in these coffins, And the coffin represents their old life, and outside the coffin is their new life, so they're being encouraged to step into a new life. With the Empress, you have the Five of Cups. Five of Cups again. So again, for you to have the glow up, you have to focus on the new, right? Or you have to let go of something that you don't enjoy any longer. And it could be anything. It doesn't have to be love. It could be, a job that you have. It could be a group that you belong to. It could be anything. And I feel this is about kind of removing something that you just don't enjoy any longer so that you can be in the Empress energy. You in the area of what the good stuff, you have this empathy card and this remember card. Yeah, I feel like you could be having more empathy for yourself. Like I said earlier, don't beat yourself up, right? Be kind to yourself and take care of yourself. I feel like you're also starting to remember like what you want to do with your life. We have the Ten of Pentacles, the Judgment card to the Star. That is your path to the star. That is you. This is you remembering your original intentions for what you want in your life. Ten of Pentacles is everything you want and desire in your life. And sometimes I think we need to get a new perspective. The Star is about getting a bird's eye view of what we want so we can see how the pieces of the puzzle fit together. And, during retrogrades is always a great time to revisit, re-examine, or redo things, right? So it might be a good time for you to put things into perspective so you can see where you're going. You have the Eight of Cups. Again, it's showing up in the good stuff, and I think the Eight of Cups is good anyway because he's walking away from things that no longer serve him, and he's hopefully walking towards success. So I feel for a lot of you, you are walking towards success, happiness, joy, good things, good energy coming in for you. We don't really know what he's walking towards, but, you could say that he's walking towards fulfillment. You have the Four of Swords. And the Four of Swords, again, is resting, relaxing, recovering. I think more healing for you, or healing yourself, or nourishing yourself, or taking care of yourself. This card really represents blessings. There's a person blessing another person in the stained glass window right here. So a lot of you could be attracting blessings, or you could be attracting blessings with the Empress by, kind of glowing up or focusing on taking care of yourself, which is always how it happens. You have the Star, great card, so I kind of feel luck here, like it could be a very lucky time for you. I also feel that you're believing that things are possible. She's pouring this water onto the land here, and that water comes from the pool of universal consciousness, and it's pouring out into the earth, and it kind of represents what's possible for one person is possible for everyone. And so you could be realizing that a big goal, wish, or dream that you have is possible for you, and you could be kind of like setting off to accomplish it. With the Eight of Cups, you have the Three of Wands, expansion. Eight of Cups, limited perspective. It's like only those 8 cups. The Three of Wands would be looking to expand. You have Jupiter in your sign still, so I think that, of course, with Jupiter in your sign, it is a time for you to expand yourself because it's in your sign. And I would do whatever you can to grow, expand, move past your situations, and, kind of just grow in life in general. With the Four of Swords, you have the Lovers. Yeah, there's definitely something about love here. Like, this could say that new love is getting ready to come into your life, but you have to step into that Empress mode energy to get the love that you desire. And that's what I feel like the Lovers is talking about. With the Star, you have the King of Wands. You could be attracting a fire sign for sure. I'm pretty sure you always get fire with me. And it could be a person you see as a star. Like, I'm not saying that they're famous, but, they could stand out in some way, or they could just be a standout person. A person who really is a good person to be with. And, this would be a person who's like very focused, very driven, and they're showing up in the good stuff. So if you have new love coming in, make sure you're healed. You have this lightning card, says, control your anger or you will be sorry. Mars retrograde at the end of the year. Even though we're not at that Mars retrograde yet, I would still say that Mars retrograde is notorious for explosive anger and, getting too excited about things. So I would just, kind of like slow things down and not get too excited about anything. You have this Tortoise. It says, slowly but surely getting ahead. Yes, you have this card. It says, you are very close to achieving your goals. So again, I think you are very close to achieving something. You have this Jug. It says lighthearted, carefree time. I've noticed a lot of lighthearted energy in the readings, right? Like Seven of Swords comes up a lot. The guy on the Seven of Swords has the polka dots on his cloak. Three of Pentacles, polka dots on the cloak again. The polka dots in the tarot represent not taking things too seriously. And you have this card, which basically says the same thing. Like, don't take things too seriously and just see where things go. You have this Tower. You can't make this up. It says solid foundation, success with effort. We were talking all about your foundation. With that beaver spirit that says lay a solid foundation. So I would make sure that whatever you're working on, that you kind of build it on a good solid foundation. As long as you do that, you will be more successful. You have this fox. It says shrewdness and resourcefulness, especially in business. I think it's an amazing time to, again, this card totally gives me Seven of Swords energy. Like if I were to attach an animal to the Seven of Swords, it would be a fox. So I think we need to be shrewd, resourceful. We need to, kind of like come up with better plans. I keep telling everyone it's kind of like a general message. They're really, without knowing what you're doing, I can't give you any clues. But what I would say is everything that you're doing, do your research. Is there a better way to do things? And again, there are 600 billion videos on YouTube that talk about everything you could possibly imagine. So I think it's an amazing time to like learn new tactics and tricks for whatever you're working on in life or whatever you're trying to improve or whatever obstacle you're trying to overcome. Like if you do your research, you'll probably find a better way to do things. And, again, this is going to be true for like the next 20 years. So that's what I would be doing. But this looks pretty good, Gemini. I like it. So thank you for being here and definitely enjoy your month.